Yes.
Hi, I'm here to talk about, I'm not representing this school, I'm representing myself because I got a new certified letter. So I would like to make a few comments. I don't know why they're not here.
We're going to give them a chance to show up so that we can hear what they have to say, hear what you have to say all together. I think that's fair. And if they don't show, we'll listen to your comments tonight and we'll take that into consideration if you can't make it to the next meeting when they do come. Next item on the agenda, 3 Eldridge Place. Could you come up to the mic, state your name, address?
Hi, my name is Vashken Samuel.
Would you like to describe what you're doing? Describe your project for us. If we have any questions, we'll ask them directly.
We're installing a new siding over existing siding. This is, it's an 8-inch, 9-inch actually, vinyl siding and wood siding.
You want to wait for that? Okay. All right. So we have a presentation tonight by our Recreation Superintendent, Kendra Garrison, on the new Gould Park pool. Kendra, you all set? Great, thanks.
Good evening, everybody. So I'm very excited to be here to present the Gould Park plans. I can. I don't know if I want to hold it from. So our current facility currently consists of 2 pools, which is a main pool and a wading pool, and also the bathhouse, which is currently open to all park members in Gould Park. The new Gould Park pool, this $1.25 million renovation will upgrade our current facility into state-of-the-art family pool that all ages will enjoy. It will feature a zero-depth entry on one side with water features, a water slide, and a new bend that will be 9 feet. A new upgraded filtration system, including new sand filters and chemical controllers. You can see there's a drawing right there. The next slide is another drawing of it. So the one side that you see is zero-depth entry. It goes down to 2.5 feet where those bevel lines are, and it continues to be 3.5 feet. And then you can actually continue into where you see the lap lanes. And then the far side will now be 9 feet instead of 5 feet. Here's the pool plumb into the site plan of the park. So you can see that the footprint of the pool area will be a little bit larger. So people are wondering where the money came from. $800,000 came from a bond approved by the Board of Trustees, and another $450,000 came from the Recreation Fund, which is approved by the Recreation Commission. The little picture there is a rendering kind of what the shower head would look like. What the money will be spent on will be renovation of the pool, new filtration system, new flooring, new ventilation system in the bathhouse, and new landscaping to make it a little bit more private.
Well, thanks, Kendra. I'll tell you, the picture of the pool looks absolutely beautiful. And I've seen presentations with estimates of what a pool costs. And it's a very, I mean, this goes back a little bit. I think, Mark, you're probably familiar with it. You've been on the Recreation Commission for a long time. But, I mean, the costs of pools such as this were tremendous. And this seems to be coming in at a very reasonable cost for what we're getting. It's also a regulation pool, correct, Kendra?
Right, I'll have 6 lanes for a swim team to have swim meets.
What's the light?
It's 25 minutes.
So you could have swim meets, and so forth. And the pool actually grades in, right, from the little children and then little bigger children and then bigger adults.
But that will also want to make the pool ADA compliant with the graded entry, yeah.
So the only work on the bathhouse will be the floor and the filter system?
Ventilation system.
Okay.
Yeah. So and also, I mean, there were some things over the last couple of years that the committee, I know, brought forth in the past. One was sort of like a landscape shading from the street,
Correct.
looking down. So that will be included in there.
Right.
And fencing will change around the whole area. Is that too close?
Kendra, can you tell us the timeframe, or projected timeframe, I should say, for the final construction?
So as soon as we get your approval, the specifications are already in the works. So as soon as we get that, we can send them out to bid. So we're hoping to start by the end of August, early September.
Yeah.
So the pool will remain open until we actually start construction.
So, I mean, if the board approves, it goes out for a bid, and then construction will start almost immediately. So let's say they start in September, will we still keep the pool open?
We would keep it open until the shovels were in the ground and we could.
Great, that's fantastic.
And so the people who gave the input on this design were the facilities committee and
The
the
Recreation
recreation commission. Cool.
Commission.
And who is the, who designed the pool, or what's the company called?
Aquatica pool?
Anything that anybody, did they do any local pools that we might have heard of?
They just redid the GCC in Terrytown, the pool.
So we have a slide in the pool,
We do.
which will be fun.
You do the inaugural slide,
I'll
Bob?
I'll do the inaugural slide.
Is it heated?
It is not heated.
Oh, come on.
Could it be heated in the future if the pool came into a lot of money?
Probably could, yeah.
Well, what's the cover gonna be? Is it gonna be a sun cover, solar cover?
Cover at night, or do you mean like through the winter?
No, I mean, if you had a solar cover on it, would heat it. You know, like the ones, yeah, for night.
Yeah, I don't know. And again, you can heat it with solar panels and stuff, or you
Yeah.
can process the water through it and pump it back into the pool.
That's cool. And so will the public be able to use the pool, like when the camp's using it next summer, from like 9 to 12, instead of it opening at 12? You could say it's to be determined.
We can definitely discuss that.
Nice.
Now you got it.
So as far as maintenance, ongoing maintenance, is it going to be complicated, expensive, or is it going to be
I'm gonna
a
say
simple
no.
process that's
Say no. I think it's gonna be much better than what we have now.
great?
Well, and just to remind everybody, if you're not familiar with it, the pool has been a very difficult maintenance issue over the last several years, and it's been something that I would say an accelerating decline, if that makes sense. And so it really did need to either be replaced or shut down.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pool is very valuable to the community. We have a camp that's been, Kendra and your staff have done a great job with, and we've increased the numbers this year, the same with the pool. So word is getting out, and, you know, we're coming back. So, you know, when you look at the economics of it, the increased usage will help us offset the payment over the 20-year bond. And we did review this with the Budget Committee, Charlene,
Yes.
and the treasurer, and they were in agreement. So I think it's great for the community, Kendra. You've done a wonderful job pulling this together in a short amount of time.
Yeah,
And
and
also,
my-
go ahead.
My point of asking about who gave input was just to make it clear that it's not just like on high deciding what the pool's gonna be. There's residents involved, there's a facilities committee. It's not just, you know, one person deciding. It's a committee that decides and gives input, so lots of people, what can I say?
And just as people know, the pool has been in such bad shape that the numbers have been declining year after year, although I think it increased this year with Kendra's work, but This, pool should be, not that you want it to be a moneymaker, but, it should really be able to bring in
Yeah.
some more, not that we'd raise the rates, but certainly bring in more people to the pool, to use the pool. I mean, it's a crime that we've got a pool and we don't have people using it the way they should, so.
And we'll be
This is
able
great.
to add additional revenue generating programs with the new pool.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people that were going down to Hastings have started to come back, correct?
Right?
Kendra? Anybody else? Shelley?
Yes, I would like to commend Kendra on her professionalism and her knowledge. I've sat with Kendra and with the group that's designing the pool. First of all, Westchester County Department of Health has, I would say, 1 million rules, maybe 10,000 less than that, that have to be followed and dictate a lot of the aspects of the pool. The Recreation Commission was very much involved in it, but remember, we have like that little concrete thing right in the middle between the 6 lanes and the kiddie pool. Well, conceptually, nobody wanted that. However, the Department of Health determined that it was necessary. So although the community or the Rec Commission had a say, even their say is limited to those aspects that are necessary by and dictated by the Westchester County Board of Health and also by the land itself, because obviously if you put it in other areas, it would be, a depth would be the underneath. You have to look at what's underneath. There would be a problem there. So there are many aspects that are far beyond my knowledge and in Kendra's knowledge, but also that are necessary, that dictate what can be done there and what can't be done.
Great.
So Shelby, the Department of Health has already looked this over and approved it, so we don't need to go to them anymore on this, or?
Well, we'll always need to
I mean,
go.
on the design, the design aspect of
It's
it, they've
like-
already looked at it and approved it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they've looked at it, they've made suggestions, very strong suggestions. Obviously, they will be present even during the construction of it to make sure that everything is correct. And you remember what the pool looks like now. The infiltration system is amazing, because that's the very scary part of what we have now.
I don't
and
think
that's
the
what breaks down.
health department would let us open
Yeah.
next year.
And it was only because of Kendra's expertise.
Kendra, is that island in the center just to protect young children from drifting into the deep end?
Yeah, it's also, it's a good spot for lifeguards to walk and kind of watch the pool, see what's going on.
Oh, I see, okay. So that's the new, Ed,
So this makes the pool ADA.
you want to go up to the mic?
I just had a question about, you say the pool is now ADA compliant. Is the bathhouse accessible?
Thanks. Anybody else?
I just had a quick question on the deep end. Will there be a diving board or?
There is not a diving board because it would need to be at least 12 feet deep, but we can teach diving and they're able to dive off the diving box for swim team.
So that's the purpose of the 9-foot depth there?
Is there anybody, Mark, did you want to say anything from the Rec Commission? Unfortunately.
I've been on the rec commission for 29 years. This did not happen quick. So we are very excited. Like the board members have said, we've been constantly putting Band-Aids on this pool, and it serves its purpose. I mean, it looks great. I think, everything is coming new. We got the Embassy Center coming, so things are coming up. So
Yeah.
this is one of our jewels, and one of our goals was to always make it affordable for the village residents. We took some hits, like we said, with trying to come out even, if, not making money, but most important part was to get usage out of it and make it affordable. So hopefully we'll move on with this and be successful.
Great. Mark, thanks, and thanks to the whole Rec Commission and to the Facilities Committee for their participation. And Trustee Sullivan, who is the liaison to the Recreation Commission, thank you. Do you want to say anything?
No, I just think Kendra did a great job pulling it together, and there was a lot of permutations of this, and the end result is, beyond amazing for the village, and we should all be lucky that she worked so hard on it. We'll have a great pool next summer.
And Kendra, are seniors still going to get the discount? All right, great. Anybody else?
I go with my boys 4 and 6 to the pool several times a week. Today my little one was crying because it was raining and couldn't go, so they'll be very excited. And I wanted to thank you, Kendra, and your team for already making improvements over the last couple of years that made it easier for kids and families to access the pool and more fun. Hopefully it'll be ready for next summer. So that'd be amazing.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, because there are a lot of young ones will be very excited and sad if it doesn't work out. I have one question. The pool over at Sprainbrook, right? That was opened last year, and then they closed it again this year because they did some shabby work, I guess, trying to get it rushing it. How will what will be done to make sure that, to oversee, that those kind of things are going to happen?
We'll make sure that the company that we picked to build it isn't the people that build that one.
Thank goodness.
Well played.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Let me just recognize, we have Kyle and Gina from the Recreation Department back here. Why don't you stand up? They work with Kendra and do a great job there.
Thank you,
Recreation.
guys.
Thank you. Kendra, thanks. Good job, you did terrific. I'm excited, I'm going to sign up now for next year.
This is the first year.
Your check ready?
What's that? Okay, we have,
Thank God.
So one of the biggest challenges with kids full of shade, I know you talked about landscape, but is there a way to work with existing shade and make sure that there's depth of shade areas?
Yes, and then we plan to see if those pool logos are there now and kind of replace them so they're better used.
That's one of the reasons we just sometimes hang up.
yeah, you've looked at that, right, Kendra, and adding, if we can, more shade to the pool. I mean, kids is very sensitive today, so you have to be very aware of that, which is good. Okay, thank you. We have courtesy of the floor, so if anybody would like to make a comment on anything on the agenda, nothing? Yes?
Will we be able to speak after presentation?
Well, it's probably, what's that?
That was the presentation.
Yeah, you could talk now if you.
I'm speaking, I'm Peggy Blizzard, 12 Chestnut Street, and I'm speaking about 100 Main Street in the application. I am asking that you not put it forward for a number of reasons. The first is that we have filed with Ed Manley an application declaring this barn to be part of the historic district that we're trying to organize for the Downsbury Croton Aqueduct. Steve Tilley, I believe, has been working on that with you. You should know about it. So we need to preserve this barn as part of this, and we don't want it destroyed. The second thing is, if you do decide to put forward this application, and as I said, I hope you won't, I do hope that you will insist that we have a 3D model. Now, flashing pictures up on the screen really has little impact on all of us. We can't understand it, and they go by so quickly, you don't get a really good impression. Now, all major architectural firms
do have a 3D printer. Dobbs Ferry Library has a 3D printer. And I have spoken to the librarian. I asked, would it be possible to make a scale model of this village? Which would, and let's say somebody decides to tear down a little building and put up a big building, we would see what the impact would be to the rest of the village. She said, yes, of course, she'd love to do that, but she would need an architect to work with her. So I think that you really should seriously consider and insist that we have a 3D model of anything else from this point forward that's going to be built in the downtown. But as I said, I do hope you will not move this forward. We spent so much time on this project, and the reasons we do not want to lose that barn should be clear to you by now. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Peggy. Anyone else? No? Great. Okay, we're going to review the application from 189 Northfield Avenue to be referred to the planning board for a new driveway that encroaches on the village right-of-way. We have a discussion on that?
The Ed could shed some light on it.
Ed, did you want to say anything about that?
So the applicant, the property owner at 189 Northfield, has submitted a building permit application to redo its driveway. It's very steep, and he'd like to level it off, grade it off, make it easier for him to use. But to do that, he needs to put retaining walls on the village right away. So he has started the first retaining wall 5 foot back from the curb, which is still, I believe, the right of way is about 8 feet there or more. So it needs to go to the planning board. He needs to add information to his plan. I would be suggesting to the planning board that that first 5 feet in front of the first retaining wall be level, because it's a very steep hill that's has erosion going on now. Soil comes out into the street. If you look up the street, drive up and down that street, on that side, it's all steep hills going up towards the back of the joints, I believe. There's at least 12 houses existing with this condition already, that they built retaining walls for the driveway onto the village right away. I don't believe any of those were approved by the board of trustees, but they pre-existing
Right.
to them. So I think we would send this to the planning board and have them take a look at it and then refer back to you, your recommendation.
Okay, good. Thanks, Ed. For those of you that may not know, Ed Manley is our head of the building department. Thank you, Ed. Any other comments? No?
Is the applicant here, or is just Ed?
Oh, he's back here. Did you want to make a comment?
Well, I had a question for the applicant if it's here, but you can also make a comment that might be helpful.
Sure, if I should show my plan or discussion.
Don't let Patty bully you into the mic.
First time here. So you can see on the left side here, my left is the existing condition.
You just say your name and.
I'm sorry, I'm Troy Wojciechowski, the engineer for Lauren Wayne. So the left side is the existing survey. The blue is the lot lines. So you can see the curb line is out there. This side we show in red the proposed retaining walls. This lower one, as Mr. Manley stated, about 5 feet off the curb line. So this will allow us to take down this very, very steep driveway.
Right.
It's probably the steepest driveway I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. In fact, it's so steep that even when it's wet, not even snow, you almost really can't walk down it.
Yeah.
It's very steep. So I submitted photos, which I'm not sure if the board.
We have.
looked at.
Yeah, we
got
took
it.
a look
We
at
have
it.
the photos, thank you.
Yeah, so the last 2 photos are the next door neighbors that shows almost exactly what we're
Right.
proposing there.
Yeah.
In fact, the same contractor that did those walls, right, 20, 30 years ago, is going to construct these walls. They'll look very, very similar. Stone walls, it'll be nice.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Do you know know how much of an encroachment it is on the village property?
Yes, if the blue line is the right of way, and probably about 15 feet.
You're not approving this tonight. This will have to go to the
Yeah.
planning board to consider the site plan, then it'll come, where a public hearing will occur.
Right.
Then it'll come back here, and we've done this in one other location on Bradley Street. It'll have to be in agreement with the village, insurance, et cetera.
Right, this was our first step to make sure that
Yeah.
the board could be in a position to approve this since it's, works in the right of way. And the next step is planning board to actually review the details of it.
Okay, thank you.
I had a question. I was curious, because in the letter you talked about other options, but then they didn't provide the desired results, and so I just wanted a little explanation on it.
Sure, we looked at, just one wall, tried to keep everything outside of the right of way of the owner's property, but it really didn't help. We need that little bit of extra room, not only to create a nicer appearance with two kind of tiered walls, about 4 or 5 feet tall, instead of a giant, 10-foot wall, right on the property line, and that actually still really didn't help us out very much with the grading. That was the main thing we looked at initially.
This doesn't encroach upon the road at all, does it?
No. It'll be, right now we're proposing 5 foot from the curb, so that'll actually give more space for snow storage, because right now, the grade, as you can see from the first, or the second picture, the grade comes down steep right to the curb line, so there's no snow storage. So it's actually gonna clean it up nice, so it's gonna be landscaped nice.
And then-
To really improve the street.
I didn't think the right of way, do we have it 15 feet? I thought it went up to 10.
It varies all
It
over
varies,
town.
okay.
So he had, from his driveway down to that lower first retaining wall was about 10 feet. And then the other 5 feet.
The other 5.
had-
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so do we have a motion to refer the application for 189 Northfield Avenue to the planning board for a new driveway that encroaches on the village right away? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Taylor, all in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Consider a motion to forward new plans for the application of 100 Main Street to the planning board for site plan review. Let me just say here that, this is going to be referred to the planning board, and then it'll go to the AHRB, and there'll be many discussions, and there'll be many public meetings and hearings on this, so,
And it comes to us for a public hearing. Then would come back to us.
and then it would come back to us at the board here. So it's a fairly long process. And so Patty, did you want to
Sure.
give a short?
Yeah, I was at just to kind of make sure everybody was up to speed on it, where we're at. This was that list that we had done, that you saw a while back. This was through the submissions of 2016. We're obviously starting over with a new approach based on the new ordinances that were adopted last August. Just some quick photos, so you guys know this probably do well. So there was a joint memo in 2015 that told us what we should be trying to do. We proceeded with that. This was the site that was developed under that concept. The building that was developed under that concept. And this was the recommendation from the planning board for approval in May 5th, 2016. After that, there were questions about the historical significance of the garage. The village retained the services of a consultant. Got a report in June 2017. But before we could get to the board and talk further about this, the board had been working for a while with a committee to look at changes to the code, and those were adopted in August of 2017. We came before you in February, and we asked for direction on this. The suggestion that was made was that we could go to the zoning board and see if we could get a variance from the new items. The zoning board, I think, did the right thing. They denied it. They said that with new laws adopted and with the which is actually similar to what we came in with in 2014. If you remember when I made the presentation, the first designs that we did had a setback to the aqueduct. This plan, this shows where the existing building is, the two porches. This is that little middle piece. We're proposing a building which will be over this portion of the site, access from Elm Street where it almost is now. It's about 8 feet further up the slope where it's flatter. We have a staircase and entrance coming in for the units above. We have either 6 or 7 parking spaces on the site. We've provided a handicap space, but that's really something I'd like to talk about with Ed because none of the apartments are accessible. So it may be possible to not have that. If we don't have that, we could then have 7 parking spaces on site. We have 2 basic approaches to it. This is the one that I think you're going to, or not that you, but I think the planning board will prefer, which is that we have 3 duplex units, staircase going to the 2nd floor, and the access from there. These are elevations. This just shows all of them, but I can show individually. This is the elevation from the street. The existing building, the addition that gets built connecting to larger addition here. 2 floors above the level of parking. This is where the cars go in. You still have the ability to walk in off the street going into the spaces that enter those 2 apartments in this building. Nothing's being done to this building other than making that connection, which is actually a requirement. The back of the building, facing towards the neighbor's yard, similar treatment that the architectural review board had asked us to do, which was to provide screening so that you wouldn't see the cars from any of the neighboring properties or from the aqueduct. This is the 2 stories facing the aqueduct. If these are duplex units, for its 1st floor and 2nd floor, 1st floor and 2nd floor, the division between the 2. This just shows the section. Here's basically the street profile. We're coming in right where this, we're coming off the street and go down a little bit underneath the first level of residential. Here's the aqueduct retaining wall on their property. Right now, the existing building encroaches on that, but with that building removed, we'll respect their setback and we'll work with them in the event that they would like to do repairs. That wall will give them an easement to allow for that without any hassle to it. There was one thing, you may have gotten a memo from, or a sheet from Ed. We originally shown the parapet is 3'6", which was 6 inches more than what the current code allows. So we reduced that to the 3 foot. I think we might have a conversation about that at some point, because there are reasons that 3'6" makes sense, but that's not really something we need to deal with at this point. And then this was one other design that we looked at, which had 4 residential units as flats. Instead of 3 larger duplex units, this had 4 units, 1-bedroom units. So it's something that would be an alternative. I would assume that what we would do with the planning board on that is show them the different things they would tell us what they prefer, make a decision, refer us on to the resolution. We've looked at the parking in the way I would say is the most demanding for us. If we look at section 348 D2, it actually says that additions to buildings like this, we're not required to provide parking for the existing building. The spaces that are currently, there really are not spaces in the paved area. None of the apartments currently have the right to park there, but they're allowed to do so because no one else is using it. What we're doing is we're looking at the 2 units in the building plus the 3 or 4 in what we're proposing, and we've solved that in both directions, although we'll need consideration from the Board of Trustees under the code that you're permitted to do, which is to consider curbside parking. In the last go-round, it was indicated that 2 spaces along the curb would be acceptable. That actually exceeds what our requirements are. As I said, if we don't have a handicap space, we have 7 spaces on site for 6 apartments. Of course, before August, we were 1 extra. After August, we are either a half space short or 1.75 spaces short. So the change, adding the bedrooms into the parking equation. That's it. So if we go to the planning board, I think that we address that.
Thanks.
Just one quick question. Could we have
Thank you.
And we build models of everything. We actually built a model of the previous one, and we did not show that. It wasn't something we were asked to do. We like to do models, we have no problem with that.
I think it'd be a great idea to have a 3D model. So can we require that, or can we just make it our intent clear that I know it's not in the code, but can we?
It's one of the things that's been talked about with code revisions.
Right, but I mean, for this project, I think it'd be good to have a 3D model.
You don't need a code revision for that. You've got a list of fairly flexible requirements.
Well, we could put it in the code as a requirement.
You can do that without making it like a new law. You can just say in the list of requirements for site plan review, they have to provide a 3D model, let people,
Yeah.
comment on it if they don't want to.
Can you speak to that?
Well, I think it's a good
Village
idea to do that.
Well, what, you've said you do it for this project.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll figure out if we
But
need
that's
to
not
add it to the
just- you're-
code, we
but
can
you're-
address it. But I would add it to the code, I think it's something that's important for certain projects, maybe we can look at.
We can look at it in the committee, but you're talking, Patty, about a 3D model, not just of the building being proposed at 100 Main, but of it with its neighboring.
We can put it into context with.
Okay, because that's the only way it's useful is if it's in context, not just a single entity.
That's usually what we want to do with it.
I just want to be clear.
So we can do that as we pass it along, I guess, when we get it later, or?
As part of the
We should
referral
ask
now,
for
I'd
plan-
include that.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we should include a referral to the
Yes.
planning board, so the planning
Yes.
board can see it as well. I mean, it has to be just
Yeah.
as useful to them as it would be.
Be more useful.
Referral to the
Us at
planning
the
board
end.
requiring a 3D model in context.
At a scale that you can actually see what's going on.
Right.
Electronic 3D model.
No.
It's not the
They
same.
They want a hard copy of actual model.
We had talked to the library about doing one for the whole downtown. I'm just not sure.
That's what Peggy mentioned earlier, but, the problem's always been having the people to come in and help them do it because it's a massive
Yeah, you need an architect.
project. I mean, they might be able to assist with a small subsection, for 100 Main if Patty wanted to work with the library, but, that's always been a problem, is just getting volunteers to help them work it through, but they're open to it.
Okay.
Yeah, Patty, you said that, I don't think curbside parking was approved for this. It was
Nothing was
considered, but I don't think it was
We never got
approved.
to our approval.
Nothing was
The recommendation was that 2 spaces would be granted.
Who recommended it?
Planning board.
Okay, I don't remember that,
Yeah,
but, okay.
that's in the resolution.
And how come it has to be a flat roof?
But you had enough spaces anyway, though, without those 2 spaces for the old one.
That'll be subject to,
Yeah.
Ed and the planning board deal with. We've
Right.
got 7, we can have 7 spaces and we'll see how it works.
Okay.
Is it unclear, Ed, or is it clear? I don't understand why it's not clear how many are required.
This submission is clear, how many are required. Pat is talking about looking at changes, he's gonna ask me.
Got it.
If we would accept on-street handicap and give them an extra space off-street, that's something I'd have to review.
Oh, so this is what, okay,
He
so,
just mentioned it now.
right, exactly. So if the on-street isn't necessarily a given at this point. 2 spaces on-street is not necessary.
No.
Nothing's a given.
It doesn't come back
Just-
to you
just-
for,
Yeah, we have to go through the process.
Yeah, all over again, right,
We make those decisions.
right.
So even with all of the new construction, the existing building as it is now is the same?
The existing building is the way it is now, the same. The only difference we're doing is we're building an addition that will attach to the back of that.
But visually it's staying the same? Like it's not gonna visually connect to it?
At this moment, there's nothing proposed. Nothing proposed. Nicole, you have a question?
Yes, why does it have to be a flat roof? I mean, I don't think there's any flat, I've already mentioned this to Ed, I don't think there's any flat roofs in that area. I mean, I think it's a little bit cheeky on the height requirements in the code to do that.
There actually are, most of the roofs in that area are flat roofs. Buildings across the street are all flat roofs, buildings to the south of that are flat roofs. Steve Tilly's is not, the village hall obviously is. So the idea that we have a flat roof to comply with a reduced height permitted in the downtown, that's how we're able to get compliance with that. If we put a pitched roof on it, it no longer says to be measured to the midpoint of the roof. If it was, we could consider that. If that's something that you'd like the planning board to consider.
But what if you did that, where would that take away from your project?
Well,
Not increasing the height, if you did it so that with proper measurement.
If you had 1 story of residential, it just wouldn't be viable today.
Commercially violating,
Financially.
yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
And that old building has commercial, it has a storefront, right? Correct me.
The existing building that faces on Main Street has a storefront on the first floor, 2 floors above.
I just want to make the observation, sort of following up on some of, Bob, your initial comments. This is very early in this process, and part of the point of adding this to the code was to make sure that projects like this in the downtown were highlighted at the board meeting, which more people see and are involved in before they go to the Architectural Review Board, and to allow some commentary, obviously, from the Board of Trustees, so that people in the community who do want to be involved are able to understand what's going on and being proposed. But there will be public hearings at all the various boards, including this board again, as Bob said at the beginning.
Very good. So I'd like to consider a motion to forward the new plans for the application of 100 Main Street to the Planning Board for site plan review. Deputy Mayor Cassell, second. Trustee Taylor, all in favor? Unanimous?
I just think it should be clear that we're looking for, when you put that, Darius, when you're writing it up, that it has that 3D.
Yeah.
With the requirement of a 3D model to
Right.
scale.
Yes.
In context with the neighborhood.
Right.
Is there a preferred scale?
If we could talk to the building department about that.
I've been trying to do that, it hasn't worked so far.
You know, Ed, Pat? Okay,
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
can I just add something?
Sure.
Darius, before I step up?
Good.
Thank you,
Okay. Consider a motion to authorize the village administrator to sign Amendment B to the 2017-2018 snow and ice agreement with the New York State Department of Transportation. Charlene, did you want to make a comment?
Yeah, it's always good to get the amendments because it means we're getting more money.
Okay, do I have a motion? Trustee Taylor, second. Trustee Nell, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to approve the commercial docking permit application and boater safety rules. Charlene pulled together the application and rules for us. Very good job, Charlene. Any comments you'd like to make?
Yes, I would like to thank the board for their diligence in looking at the rules and regulations and looking at the application and making amendments to. I think we have a viable application that will allow for commercial boats to have, to give it to the community so that they can allow these trips and have that boat there. It looks nice, there's no question about it. But we also need the rules and regulations to ensure boater safety for both the people on the boat and for the residents in the park. So, thank you.
Thanks,
Charlene, I have a question. I may have missed it. Did we have something about noise after a certain hour? Or is that not relevant?
Does the park have a whole have one? I'm assuming.
We're closed at 11.
Right.
I think that, in truth, I think there was something in the regulations.
Again, as I said, I may have missed it because I know we had discussed it.
Let me see.
I don't see it in the board of safety.
I think it said, the current code is 12 in the downtown district, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is waterfront.
For noise, I said that I think the park closes technically at 11.
Yeah, I think there's noise regulations within the code itself.
Oh, okay.
So that would actually.
So that
apply to
covers that.
Yeah.
Great.
And in addition, the application does require somebody who's going to use or apply for a permit to give the times that they
Right,
intend to
right.
come
And if
and
there's
go.
an issue, then we
So
can
that
revisit that.
we can manage it that way. I guess I would just make the observation that this hopefully is going to encourage more usage and provide good opportunities for the residents to do things like participate in sunset cruises or other that are appropriate commercial uses of that pier to allow residents to enjoy the river, not just from the shore, but from elsewhere as well, and do so in a responsible way that's generating a bit of revenue to help offset the costs of the dock and the park.
And we have had the initial, there was an initial
Test.
voyage, right, from the dock that seemed to go very well. We had a couple of our trustees down there observing, and you didn't get on the, you weren't on the ship. But it seemed to go very well. So it's great for, I think it's great for the community. It provides a little revenue for us. And it's a lot of fun. And I think they're gonna be doing a few more, right?
I believe so. This is gonna go through the, and it will not have to come before the board every time it's happening. It's going through the rec department. I worked with Kendra. She'll be able to deal with, you know, the 10 days. She has 10 days. Jeff will look to the insurance aspect of it. So I think we have it covered. Because it's also very important that whatever vessel is used has the proper insurance and is registered.
Right. Great.
And this, you know, we'll see how this works I think we'll see how this works this year and consider what makes it an appropriate adjustment or change next year.
Great.
Thanks, Charlene.
Yes, Mike?
Just a question on the rules and regulations, the times for the noise ordinance, is that similar? Mike Mero, 32 Walnut Street. The question is on the noise part of the rules and regulations, because I haven't seen any of that. Is that consistent with the rest of the noise ordinance in Dobbs Ferry?
For the boat itself, or
As far as,
the whole village?
yeah, there are.
Yeah, it's different in the downtown than it is for the rest of the.
Those rules apply, though.
Yeah.
Right,
The
because-
village code would apply.
Because I know that the bullhorn carries through the entire Hudson Valley. So at 11
All the way up
o'clock,
there?
that's probably a little too late to,
Yeah.
you know, be starting the party on a weekday, or even on weekends, really. But, so I just wanted to make sure that that was something that wasn't going to become a conflict just because there happens to be an event. You know, it's one thing to have, you know, the concerts on Wednesday
Yeah.
evenings. They go to a normal time, and, you know, it's nice for everybody, but, you know, like I said, the bullhorn is a little bit different.
What we can do is, first of all, the park closes at 11. If the board so chooses, they can amend this and ask that we put into the boater safety regulations a specific statement as to noise.
And at an earlier time when a boat would have to return and disembark. So, again, this is, we don't expect, and the requests have been more to focus around sunset. So they've been earlier in the evening and then ending, at least so far, in an orderly way. And I don't think anyone wants to set up a situation where, you know, there's something going on late into the night that's generating a lot of noise and difficulties in the village. So, you know, again, this is something that can be amended, and I think, you know, Charlene and the village would be thoughtful about the time that somebody expects to end a cruise. Somebody says they're gonna come back at 1 in, that's not gonna be something that would be acceptable. It would still have, the application would still have to be approved.
Right, you know, I even as far as running my electric lawnmower, which doesn't make a whole lot of noise, I'm limited to 6:30 in the evening. So, you know, the rest of the stuff, it's all well and good because it provides public events, but, you know, at some point, you know, if we're going to encourage the commercial activity, it'd be nice to include the expectations for the rest of the community. But like I said, on the water, it carries everywhere as long as you're on that side of the hill.
I mean, at some point, we could probably even look at, again, this is kind of, we're just trying out, so we'll see what happens, but we can do something about within X amount of yards of the dock, you can't start your music or whatever, you know. You know, I
It is,
can
what,
look at something like that.
500 feet, I think.
Yeah.
We asked them to slow down, and
Yeah.
lower
I think right
volume.
now, this is like sort of a
This is
test
beginning,
case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anything that, if we get complaints about things, and I'm sure people will call if there's too much noise, then we can always amend it and make sure that it's controlled.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a party, right? It was, they were making announcements at 11 o'clock at night, so there was.
Who were?
Who was?
probably a few
Who?
minutes.
Who?
Pardon me?
Who was?
I don't know, it was down at the.
Well, you also have music coming from the.
On the 4th of July?
It was a ballpark. I don't know if it was related to the vote. I know it was the same evening that you guys were trying it out. You know, it was 11 o'clock. I know because I looked at the clock when I got woken up by it. So, just saying, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Good idea.
Okay, consider a motion to approve the commercial docking permit application and boater safety rules. Motion. Trustee Rosillo, second. Deputy Mayor Cassell, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to authorize the Superintendent of Recreation to request bids for the Gould Park Pool design. Motion. Trustee Rosillo, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Kendra, and the staff and the Recreation Commission. I noticed Joe Lucchese came in. Joe, we talked about this a little bit earlier, and it looks like a great design, and I think it'll be great for the community. So thank you and the Recreation Commission and the Facilities Group for all the work you did on this. Thanks.
Go Gould Park Pool. See ya, Chumka.
So Memorial Day 2019, Kendra. We'll see you there.
Well,
Well, you
We'll
missed
have
it,
a-
Joe.
I
You
don't
missed
know
it,
if you want
Joe.
to see that,
Swim
Joe.
shirt, swim shirt.
No,
Bob
we'll have a
Swing-
raffle to see who gets to push the mayor down the slide for the first inaugural.
Fundraiser,
That's gonna be the grand
fundraiser.
There we go. Consider a motion to approve audits number 1 and number 2 for July 2018 as recommended by the village treasurer. Anything, Jeff?
I have no additional comments.
Larry?
I'll make a motion. I've reviewed them.
Second, trustee Rosillo, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to accept the resignation of Mr. Ryan Cullen from the Ogden Engine Fire Company and to remove his name from the active insurance rolls. Motion? Trustee Nell, second. Trustee Rosillo, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion, I like this part of the agenda, to approve a block party request for Ms. Tracy Foley for September 8th, 2018, from 1 to 8 p.m. on Shady Lane between Hilldale Road and Meadow Way intersections.
I give it a motion.
Motion, trustee Nell, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to approve a block party request from Ms. Suzanne Berger for September 16, 2018, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., with a rain date of September 23rd, 2018, on Bel Air Drive, from Palisade Avenue to Porter Place. Motion. Trustee Taylor, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to approve a block party request.
This is a party
Wow,
town.
party town.
But they're all different days.
Unless we're not invited, there's no party.
From Miss Maria Harris for September 2nd, 2018, from 2 p.m. to dusk on Overlook Road. And by the way, I think we're invited to all of these, so put
I
it on
certainly
your,
hope so.
put it on your calendar. Motion? Deputy Mayor Cassell, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay, so now we have a motion. Darius, am I right on this?
Yes.
A motion to refer the amendment for fees for site plan applications for residential projects and subdivisions provisions to the planning board concerning fees. Motion. You want to give a quick?
If you want.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
no. So at the last planning board meeting on Thursday night, there were 4 applications for residential developments that included small additions. Whether you have a small addition, and that's 120 feet, I think one of them was a porch, or a new house being built, the site plan application fee is $1,500. So everyone was looking at it, the board and building department, and it was decided maybe there should be a sliding scale depending on how big the development would be, the addition would be. So Ed and I have looked at potential proposals for that, something between 0 and 500 feet addition, or going up the scale would then work its way up to 1,500. So planning board wanted to look at it. We need to get it referred to them to recommend something to you. So that's the proposal now, just to refer to the planning board. They'll have a recommendation made to you, hopefully at their August meeting. Then we can have a public hearing in September here.
Yeah, I just want to point out that this doesn't affect permit fees, or this is just the site plan review fee. So we're still getting the permit fees, all the, applicable permits still apply, so it's not affecting any of that. This is just to help a little bit these smaller projects, because at the planning board meeting, there were some of these projects that, $1,500 was half of what they were spending on the project. So this is why they thought it would be more fair for these smaller projects.
Makes sense, right? Okay, so do I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Cassell, second. Trustee Taylor, all in favor? Unanimous? Okay, we have the minutes from June 26, 2018.
Seems fine to me.
Everybody good? Okay, so do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Trustee Taylor, second. Trustee Rosillo, all in favor? Unanimous? Correspondence and claims. Liz, you're back in the back room. Anything that you want to report?
No, sir.
Thank you, Liz. Reports and announcements. Trustee DeRossi, anything that you would like to mention?
I just want to mention that the Youth Council has opened their movie nights at the waterfront. We had our first one last Tuesday, which was a great hit. Thank you for everybody that came and joined us. Thank you to Kendra and her team, for Kyle, that I see you back there, and Gina, thank you so much for all your help. We have moved the one that was scheduled for tonight due to weather to Thursday, and it's Jumanji that we are going to be showcasing. So it's very, very nice, and I think it's a great thing to do with your family. I'm working on trying to create one for adult night.
Right.
But we will discuss that further, and more to come on that.
Is that the Youth Services Council?
Yes.
Yeah.
Courtesy of the Youth Council and the Recreation.
Great. I'll tell you, the beautification committee, I see them out there. They really have done a wonderful job around the village. I mean, when you enter Cedar Street there,
Yeah.
and by the aqueduct, they really did a job there, and they're going to be working down on more towards the waterfront.
Yeah, the plants bloom really, really nice. And we already know that our goats are in town.
No, that was gonna be my announcement.
I am so sorry, Donna, for stealing your thunder. We are looking for volunteers to please help us to keep them water. It is on Saturdays and Sundays from, I believe it's 7:30 to at least noon. So if you can, please sign up. There is actually a electronic signing sheet that is around, and if you're interested, please send me an email. I'll be more than happy to forward that to you. It expands all the way into September. So I will very much appreciate if we can help. I think that the names are, hold on, I'm gonna remember, Skittle, and, oh my gosh, what's the other one? It will come back to me, but they got names and everything, so it's very exciting, so please, stop by and listen to them.
Well, I'll just interject. Remember, you cannot pet the goats. There's poison ivy on them. That's what they're there for, is to eat the poison ivy. Do not feed them, or they'll be fired, because they won't be doing their job. So do not feed them, do not pet them, but look at them, talk to them, whatever. Okay.
Very good. And how long will they be there?
It
September.
depends.
Until
They
September,
make
end of
a way, then they
September.
go back. Depends on how much they're eating.
Yeah, sometimes they go away for a little while. Need a
So they need a vacation.
I can see them right now, they're like really eating.
Great. Okay, thank you, Trustee DeRossi. Trustee Nell?
Fairy Fest is coming.
Yeah.
October 6th. The site's live. You can become a vendor. We have the paper normal version of the application to become a vendor on we're working on getting an online version so that people can do it without having to mail something with a stamp, because that's hard for some people. And save the date, October 6th. We have a new mayor. There's no guarantee it's gonna have sun on Ferry Festa.
Wait a minute.
But I trust,
Wait a minute.
I trust Bob
Patty.
is doing whatever.
Mayor's job.
It is the mayor's job to make
It's
sure
too
it's
much
sunny
pressure,
on
Patty.
Festa Day. So, no pressure.
No pressure.
If it rains this year,
Don't even say that word. It's not gonna rain.
If it does, Hartley will take so much.
he will be so happy. So, yeah, and then I want to make sure that, I'm working on an email to send out to local businesses so that they also all know, because it's important that everybody is prepared, you know, strategically for Festa, because it takes over. Yeah, and then we've had some good applications come in for the nominating committee.
Great.
And some
Quite a
good-
few, we need quite a few
Yeah.
board.
We need
vacant-
Youth Services and Conservation Advisory Board, primarily, and Nominating Committee,
and nominating committee.
which is a super fun committee to join. Anyone's looking for fun in their life and village volunteer work. That would be
It is.
it.
Hey, listen, it's an opportunity for you to help the village out, to help the
Yeah, and you get to
community
meet
out.
all these people,
Meet
like
people
Paula,
and
the chair
have
of the
some
nominating
fun.
committee, has lived here her entire life, so you can, like, for me, being 6 years, I get to find out everything about Dobbs Ferry from her, so
And those nominating committee holiday parties were just
they're
a
a
blast.
blowout.
They were always good. Okay,
That's it.
thank you, trustee Nell. Trustee Sullivan?
No announcements.
Nothing. Trustee Taylor?
Nope, I don't have anything this meeting.
Great. Trustee
I
Mazzilli?
don't have anything either.
Gosh, you
Wow.
guys, say something funny, come on.
I would have had something, but Mara
Deputy
chose-
Mayor? Oh, my goodness. So anyway, we had,
Can I
Patty.
actually say one thing?
yes,
Dory taught me a long time ago that if you have something on the agenda, don't talk about anything else in front. But I just wanted to thank you guys and Kendra and all of you, the 4th of July was just absolutely phenomenal. It was a great, great job. It was wonderful. People were having a great time all day long, or actually not all day, some of it started in the afternoon. And I just think it's another example of when people get together in Dobbs Ferry and make something happen. It's gonna be great.
good, yeah, terrific, thanks, Patty. Anybody else? I'm going to just mention a few things. One was, I was going to mention the 4th of July. I want to thank not only the Recreation Department, but Police Department, Fire Department, the Ambulance Corps, DPW, all the volunteers that were involved. And it's really a special day in the village. We had a historical event also to begin the day, where there were 2 plaques that were given to Dobbs Ferry by the National Park Service to recognize our significance in the Revolutionary War. And now they are sitting down there in Willow Point in a nice spot overlooking the river where, I mean, we really did have, when you look at the history of Dobbs Ferry, an impact on the country's destiny. So it was a great way to start the day, and we ended. Who was there for the fireworks? Wow.
I'm watching from my room, so.
Oh, you do? But anyway, was that the best fireworks finish you ever saw? It was unbelievable. Well worth the day. I think everybody had a good time, so thank you all to everybody that was involved. We had a nice day on Saturday. A few of us were at the library. The library has some great, if you're not taking advantage of it, please do. Some great programming with Elizabeth there and Vicki and Sandra Marrow with the Friends. And we had a reading morning at the library, which was great. And a lot of the parents came with kids, and we had some other folks from the library and other areas. So that was great, and it was a lot of fun. So take advantage of the library. We have movie night coming up, July 24th. Did you mention this?
There's one this week, July 19th,
Oh, there's one, 19th.
and the
Which one is that
24th.
one?
It got moved from tonight 'cause of
Oh,
rain.
because of the rain? Okay. So the one on the 24th is Sherlock Gnomes.
No, yes, Sherlock Gnomes, you're correct.
Gnomes, okay.
Gnomes?
No.
On the 24th,
Instead of
Gnomes,
homes, it's
Gnom, yeah.
But we also have, what's the big movie that's coming? Black Panther.
Alexa's actually sent a message to Barry to change it for her, because she won't be here.
So anyway, that's another thing the rec department has going. Wonderful thing down at the waterfront for kids, which is terrific. The Shredder also on July 19th from 9 to 12 at Waterfront Park. I do want to mention too that we did have a recent meeting, Donna, from the traffic committee with the PTSA, members of the traffic committee, met with the DOT for the school zone and the signage that is going there, and to increase, of course, the safety of our children and pedestrians within the village and bicycle. Yes.
Yeah, and that hopefully everything will be in place by September when school opens.
Yeah.
Oh, and piggybacking on that, I saw Matt Rosenberg today, and we were going over my design for the
Oh, the signs,
walkable
yeah, yeah.
thing to add to the Dobbs Ferry
Oh, great.
sign. So we'll have something to show you.
Excellent,
Soon.
excellent.
And I also want to mention, we lost another Dobbs Ferry person, Stephen Saransky, and a young man that obviously premature, and his family and he were really involved in the community. So we want to dedicate this meeting to Stephen. All right, I think that's it. Thank you all very much, and the meeting is adjourned.